Hello, I'm Jay Jackson. Welcome to WineNewsTheBar.com. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing on YouTube. It's Juneteenth month, and that means lots of parties and lots of wine. So where do you start? That's a question one wine veteran has lots of answers for in 167 pages of color. It's been said that a meal without wine is like a day without sunshine. And in wine veteran Stephanie Brown's self-published book, Sipping Sense, Uncorking the Flavors of Wine, Entertaining, and Healthy Cooking, she provides plenty of sunshine.
The book was really a tribute to my family and all that they did around entertaining and community.
I got a chance to chat with Brown between her whirlwind of book signings and appearances, in particular about why she wrote the book, which focuses on modern entertaining, easy, healthy cooking tips, and the perfect food and wine pairings.
We just talked a little bit about having a long career in wine, and that journey through wine also enhanced the entertaining and the socialization that I got from the wine industry. And so I wanted to be able to share what I had learned during that time, as well as help people who were maybe just getting started in the industry or just getting started loving wine, and partaking wine and entertaining with wine, giving them some kind of a blueprint to actually do that. And then also people who have been around wine and drinking wine for a long time. Pairing is hard. And so I wanted to also give them an easy way and a blueprint for pairing wine with food. And I think the cookbook kind of came from all of the things that I've learned about how to cook with wine over the years.
With decades of experience in the wine world, ranging from label owner to wine industry retailer, Brown's insight is written into every word of the book, yet she says it's relatable to any wine drinker, no matter the experience.
It's definitely good for that new wine drinker because I feel like when you're a new wine drinker, you're experimenting with your palate and you're trying to figure out, what do I actually like? And I think all the wine recommendations, the wine pairing blueprint, and then things that you should, have to entertain, all are tools of I call tools of a winemaker. A new wine drinker, and also someone who is actually entertaining. So I think all those pieces for a newbie are really important. But then when you go on the other side, there may be people who are really experienced in pairing, but just want recommendations for different recipes. And so that they can get out of the book. And then everyone who loves to drink wine with food, or partake in wine doesn't know how to entertain. So I try to give a little bit of tools, give a lot of tools to anybody who actually is in either side of that equation.
For more information on the book, go to Brown's website at sippingsense.com. Brown gained national fame in the late 90s with her Divas Uncorked Wine Social Club. Now, almost 30 years later, as the country celebrates Juneteenth in the age of Trump, WineNewsTheBar.com wanted Brown's assessment on the state of the black wine space. She says it's strong, but changing.
I would say it's getting crowded, and not getting crowded from the standpoint of a negativity, but getting crowded from the standpoint of there are so many single wine producers now, which is very different than when I started out with in the space. And so I think from that perspective, they have to figure out how to create that unique niche market, because every wine is not for everybody. And it's a lot of money to bring a wine to market and then stay in market. And trying to figure out how to stand out on a shelf is really difficult. And again, every wine doesn't go to the shelf anymore. So there are a lot of winemakers and wine producers who only do online purchasing. So there's just a lot to learn about the marketplace and how you're going to get to market and stay in market. And I always say, bringing wine to market is not for the faint of heart. You need to learn how to hustle, because that's the only way you're going to actually be successful. And then also thinking about diversification. So, how can I diversify, not just with just having the wine label, what other product can I bring to market that will make people then go buy my wine? So I say all that to say I think it's crowded right now, and I think brand ambassadors are going to be very important, because that's the way people are going to get to know that your wine exists and actually get a chance to taste it. So the festivals and the stores and all of the surrounding businesses that support the industry are extremely important because that's where people will actually have the chance to actually know that you even exist.
Bad beer, April's direct-to-consumer numbers, and a meeting in Moldova. Here are the top stories for June's Wine in a Minute. A recent study found so-called forever chemicals in a number of American beers. Known as PFAS, the chemicals were in water in North Carolina, Michigan, and California, with North Carolina having the highest concentration of chemicals. They can lead to liver damage, thyroid problems, and fertility issues. Researchers suggest stricter regulations for water treatment technology at beverage production facilities. Direct-to-consumer numbers slipped in value and volume for the fourth straight month, a 3% drop in value compared to April of last year, and 10% in volume, according to the latest Wine Analytics report. But wine club shipments saw a jump of 8%, keeping the decline in check. It was the biggest jump ever reported for April. For the first time ever, the Republic of Moldova will host the 46th World Congress of Vine and Wine. The gathering is considered one of the most important wine events in the world, where international wine leaders come together to set standards and rules for winemakers in every country. Wine leaders will hold tastings, conferences, and a grand dinner in Krakow. And finally, we go to Santa Monica, California, where three wine lovers are changing the wine scene by making sure diversity stays at the top of their list. Terrence Stevenson is pouring his dream come true, and that dream was to have his Offhand Wine bar in Santa Monica reflect his upbringing on the west side of Los Angeles.
We grew up around everything and everybody. The city is massive and has so many different cultural influences that's always been our foundation of friendship, was just more about, are you a good person and whatnot, because we run into and have been around every culture you could imagine since we were little kids, and shout out to our parents for also giving us those experiences. But it's just a reflection of how we grew up right here on the west side of Los Angeles. Everybody is here. We have friends from all races, all cultures, from all over the world that come here and hang out with us. And it's just luckily caught on to the general public like, oh, this is also a place for me as well.
The same goes for his business partner, Khalil Kinsey, who says diversity is the real juice that makes this 2.5-year-old destination spot one of the hottest places on the west side.
Just because of the reflections that come from it. You get so many different perspectives, different input, different experiences as a result, and you get to appreciate so much more because you have all of this range that isn't there without it, and so the importance of diversity is simply to broaden the horizon of what's possible, of what we understand and are aware of, and how we appreciate each other, and that's the key to it all.
With 5-star dishes and natural or low-intervention American wines featured, Offhand holds a unique space in the local wine scene. Along with a third business partner, Justin Leathers, Stevenson and Kinsey are the founders of West Side Winos, a trio of wine, food, and entertainment gurus known for bars and tastings around Los Angeles. Offhand is the start of bigger things to come.
We would love to put more offhands around the United States and possibly internationally, just because no one is doing what we're doing as far as the focus of domestic American natural winemakers, or low intervention wines, whatever you want to call it. But no one has that same focus that we've had over these years, where we don't bring anything in from overseas. We're really trying to highlight what's happening right here in the States with all these great winemakers.
We continue to do all of our things through the Westside Winos brand as well. Wine direction, wine events, tastings, and whatnot. And we're going to continue to bring that world together, and also throughout, all of the different regions that we can.
To learn more about the Offhand Wine Bar, go to their website at offhandwinebar.com. And that's going to do it for this episode of WineNewsNoir.com. Please remember to support our sponsors on our website. Once again, thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing on YouTube. I'm Jay Jackson. Cheers.